Alaska, a land renowned for its untamed wilderness and breathtaking landscapes, has long captivated the imaginations of adventurers and treasure seekers alike. Beyond its rugged mountains, icy fjords, and sweeping tundra lies a lesser-known narrative of lost gold mines, sunken ships full of treasure, and personal caches scattered across this vast frontier. Gold was first found in Alaska's Kenai River in 1848, although no gold was ever produced from this discovery. However, it still set off a wave of prospectors ready to stake a claim in this wild frontier. Gold mining officially started in Alaska in the 1870s from placers southeast of Juneau. Another recent gold find, in 1998, happened to be the largest gold nugget ever found in Alaska. A gold miner, Barry Clay, was using his bulldozer in a placer mine when he saw this massive watermelon-sized nugget. Weighing over 20 pounds, Clay sold the chunk of gold for around $750,000. While countless stories of other treasures have been found and claimed throughout Alaska, let's talk about the treasure that might still be out there. We'll start with the Lake of the Golden Bar in Mount Elias. In 1884, three men hoping to strike it big during the Yukon Gold Rush came upon a small lake, where they noticed something shining brightly on the sandbar in the distance. They swam out to the sandbar, which turned out to be full of golden nuggets gleaming in the sun. These men built a small cabin to prospect the area, and stayed there for a few weeks, collecting the gold nuggets they found in a nearby cave. In fact, they were doing so well that they decided to stay a little longer, a detrimental mistake. As winter approached, the three men were attacked by the nearby Tlingit Native American tribe. The cabin was burned to the ground, and one of the men was killed. One of the men, Charles Ulrich, made it out alive with 1,000 ounces of gold. However, he never returned to the lake with the golden bar, which means that some of the gold might still be waiting there in the St. Elias Mountains. Another fabled treasure, the lost gold ore in the Harris River mine, dates back to the 1920s. John Vile, a miner at the Harris River mine, would go to the tunnel after supper to secretly pick quartz samples with gold. He would hide them in sacks, leave them in tunnels, put them in glass jars, and hide the jars underneath his cabin. Unfortunately, in 1927, John was injured in a rock slide that almost killed him, putting him in the hospital for nearly a year. When he recovered, he returned to the mining site, only to find that the jars under the cabin were gone. However, John still had 18 sacks of gold ore remaining in the mine, but he was too weak to move the heavy sacks. No one has since recovered the gold ore. As the mine was shut down in 1929, it eventually flooded due to the Harris River. Another unfound treasure story, called the Frenchman's Gold Mine, started in the remote village of Howkan. A miner needed supplies and paid for the goods in pure gold. He returned to the town several times, always paying for his supplies with gold. Several of the villagers, including the storekeeper, tried to follow him to determine the source of all his gold. Unfortunately, no one could track him long enough to discover where he was coming from. Many people have guessed that the gold's located on Doll Island, but they've yet to find the gold or try mining the island. Another rumored treasure was also the story of a catastrophe. The SS Clara Nevada, originally a survey ship for the IRS, was sold to the McGuire brothers toward the end of its life. The brothers, who got a great deal on the boat, refurbished it and used it to sail from Alaska to Seattle. On the first voyage, the ship was already having problems and got tied up in Skagway, Alaska, on February 4, 1898. The next day, the ship went south with passengers and crew aboard. The vessel collided with Eldred Rock, quickly sinking, along with the rumored $165,000 in raw gold. In today's dollars, this treasure would be equal to about $14.3 million. This wreckage is located in less than 40 feet of water, but the gold's yet to be found, meaning it's probably still out there. Northwest Airlines Flight 4422 was another treasure tragedy. This flight took off from the Merrill Field in Anchorage and was heading toward New York. On board were 24 merchant marines, but the plane crashed into Mount Sanford, killing everyone. None of the passengers' remains have ever been recovered, but one piece of the wreckage was found in 1999. Not only was this plane carrying people, but it's also rumored to have been carrying secret cargo of gold from China, supposedly in the $3 million range. The gold is yet to be found. While many of Alaska's treasure stories have to do with gold, the tale of the Baychimo gold ship has to do with a different kind of valuable treasure: real furs. This cargo steamer was used for transporting pelts purchased from the Inuit people along the Victoria Island coast of the Canadian Northwest Territories. In 1931, the crew abandoned the ship because it got stuck in an ice pack, but it was loaded with fur at the time. The company sent an airplane to rescue the crew, but 15 men decided to stay behind, making their home in a wooden shelter they had built. As luck would have it, a blizzard hit at the end of November, and when the storm was over, the Baychimo was nowhere to be found. Many concluded that it had sunk during the blizzard. Since then, Baychimo's been spotted several times, with many attempts made to board her, but none prevailed. Although it was last seen in 1969, it begs the question, is this ghost ship still sailing around Alaska? If she is still around, the people who find her will also find abundant, valuable fur. So, can you go treasure hunting in Alaska today? Well, the vast, untapped wealth of Alaska comes with regulations and restrictions that have been established to preserve the state's historical integrity. Metal detecting and treasure hunting are subject to antiquity laws and prohibited in public lands with significant history, including Aboriginal mounds, Indian burial sites, earthworks, national parks, and recreational centers without the necessary permits. Metal detecting is currently permitted in abandoned buildings, parks, beaches, rivers, lakes, creeks, war sites, and ghost towns. There are also several tour sites where panning for gold's allowed, and even encouraged. Whether you're seeking a fortune, retracing historic steps into the past, or simply basking in the awe-inspiring vistas, remember that the real treasure is not just the gold, but the journey of finding it. Thanks so much for watching.